Yeah, let me drink my drink. I love carbs. Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. How are y'all doing? Y'all alright? Y'all, today I am doing a Popeyes mukbang. I gotta catch my breath real quick, y'all. It is so hot in here. And I'm about to eat some spicy chicken. Cool. We are eating Popeyes today. I got a 4-piece chicken meal. I got a mix of mild and spicy, so I don't know which one is which. I got some Cajun fries, some Cajun rice, some mashed potatoes, and a biscuit. Let's dig in because I am very hungry. Oh, and I got a sweet tea. Let me taste these mashed potatoes. I love mashed potatoes so much. They're so good too. I haven't had their Cajun rice before. Oh, that's very good. That got a little spice to it. I like that. Ooh, this rice is really good. I need another plate before I make a mess. Hold on. Y'all, I think this piece might be the spicy piece. I took a little bite before I went and got this plate. It hit my throat. A biscuit. Buttery goodness. I got a little raggedy ratchet Texas Pete. Little Texas Pete. Kick it up a notch on the spice. Let's try these Cajun fries. They're okay. I'm I'm weird about fries. If they're not like piping hot and fresh, I don't really care. I ain't really with it. No, they taste good in these potatoes though. Alright, let's talk about the book. So I went ahead and I read 7 chapters. I tried to do 10, but I was too hungry. I read 7 chapters. I read chapters 27 through 33. Y'all. Revelations. If y'all haven't had the Cajun rice, this is my first time. I was nervous because I like the rice and beans, but I was trying to try something new. Okay, so chapter 27 is like back to present day. It's right after, we're on Erika's point of view. Now, Erika and Oliver are trying to have kids. They asked her friend Clementine to donate her eggs, and at first she said no. But this day, she just called Erika to tell her she'll do it. Now, Erika is weary and nervous because she heard Clementine say that it would disgust her to donate her eggs to Erika. She doesn't want the kids to look like her. Like, she just doesn't want to do it. So, but she came around and she called Erika and said she wanted to do it. So, Erika's about to go to her mom's house to clean her house. Her mom's a hoarder. And so she checks on Oliver, her husband. He's sick. She was like, how are you feeling? He's like, I'm feeling a little bit better, but not well enough to go to work or go help you or anything like that. That chicken better have been mild. I mean, it was spicy, but it wasn't like, you know what I mean? So, she's just checking up on him. He was like, who was that on the phone? I heard you talking on the phone. And she was like, oh, that was Clementine. He was like, so has she said anything? You know, about the eggs? And she's not ready to tell Oliver that Clementine said that she would donate her eggs. She needs a little bit more time to think about it because she knows Clementine doesn't really want to do it. Or so she says. So she tells Oliver, she's like, no news yet. I haven't heard anything. I love carbs. No news yet. He's like, okay. So then we get a little background on the infertility story. So when Erika found out that they would need a donor, you know, she couldn't, she didn't have enough eggs, or her eggs, you know, she can't have a baby with her eggs. She was like relieved. She was relieved because, first of all, she didn't want a baby that looked like her, which was really sad. That made me sad. She didn't want a baby that looked like her, and she didn't want a baby that would have her, like, traits, you know, the OCD, extreme cleanliness, overanalyzing everything, anxiety. And then she didn't know if, like, hoarding would be passed down. She's not a hoarder, but her mom is, so she doesn't know, like, you know, maybe it skips a generation, you know. Like, she didn't want that. And so, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the book is set in Australia. So, in Australia, it's really difficult to come by donors. So, the fertility doctor told them they'd be better off starting with, like, close family and friends. And it was actually Oliver's idea, you know, to suggest Clementine. And at first, Erika was like, no, Clementine would never. First of all, she's too busy. She's too busy, and she just wouldn't do it. Also, Erika hates asking Clementine for favors, because it seems like Clementine is always doing Erika a favor, even by being her friend. So Erika really wasn't trying to like ask Clementine. Then she got to thinking, like, she thought about Clementine's daughters, Holly and Ruby. And she was like, they're so beautiful. What if the baby had like Ruby's green eyes with Oliver's dark hair, or Holly's like lips with Oliver's nose? And then she was like hype. She was like, yes, let's have this baby. I'm telling y'all, I think Erika is low-key obsessed with Clementine in every way. In every way. Like, she was she was so obsessed with the thought of what Clementine and Oliver's baby would look like that it made her want to have a baby even more, like more than even wanting her own baby. She wanted that baby. That's crazy. That's crazy. You're at all interested in this makeup look, check out my previous video where I did a cute, quick, you know, chit chat, get ready with me tutorial situation. I don't really do tutorials, but you know what I mean. I showed you how I got this look in my previous video. I feel like a lot of y'all are just here for the mukbangs because my mukbangs get more views than my makeup videos. And I was supposed to be a makeup channel in the beginning, but mukbangs called to me. I love mukbangs. I love watching them. I love doing them. I'm just trying to work on getting my setup. Y'all, trust me. The more I do these videos, the better my setup is going to get. Just hold on. Anyway, do I look like I'm sweating? It's Florida heat. And I'm indoors. You know what? These fries ain't that bad. Now that I'm fucking them up. They don't really taste very Cajun to me. So then Clementine remembers that day at the barbecue when she overheard Sam and Clementine. That's Sam's Clementine. Sam is Clementine's husband. She overheard them talking about her. Well, Clementine. And she heard Clementine say like it would disgust her to have her baby. And then, you know, it just made her sad because something she wanted so badly and something Oliver wanted so badly, like, disgusts her friend the most. And she just remembered, like, as she was walking back downstairs, because, you know, she overheard them and she came in the room. She just remembered feeling pain and anger. Especially for Oliver, because he's just so innocent. He just, like, you know, something he wanted so innocently. She was like, hell no. I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. You know, so like as I said, as she went downstairs, she was just angered, and they went to the backyard to have the dinner or whatever. Clementine was living it up. She was getting drunk. She was getting loose. Excuse me. She was laughing it up. And Erika just remember looking at her like, bitch, I don't want your eggs. Keep your damn eggs. And that's that chapter. Child. I can't tell which one is spicy and which one is mild, because honestly, these have both been mild. So this is my third piece. Let's see. Like, what's spicy, sweetie? So chapter 28, we're back to the day of the barbecue. They're in the backyard. Excuse me. They're in the backyard. They're admiring their beautiful backyard. It's super lavish. They have fountains everywhere. Statues. You know, it's bougie. Very bougie. Marble. You know. So Clementine is like in awe. She's like, this is so beautiful, you know, like this don't look like nothing like Erika and Oliver's house, because they live across the street, Erika and Oliver. And they're very clean, very minimalistic. And Clementine was like, this don't look nothing like the neighbors. And Tiffany was like, oh, this is all Vid's doing. It's his vision. And I told y'all before, it seems like Clementine and Vid have something going on, and Sam and Tiffany have something going on. They doing a little switcheroo. That's what I feel like. Vid is obsessed with Clementine. She doesn't seem obsessed with him, but she's very intrigued. Oh, y'all see that skin piece? So like I said, you know, Clementine was boozing it up. She's feeling good. She doesn't put it in her head. She got it in her head like, maybe Erika didn't hear me. Shit. She seems to be acting fine. And Erika, Clementine is getting lit. And Clementine's not really a drinker. But she's getting lit at this party. So she didn't put it all in her head. Clementine didn't hear anything. And you know what? While I'm at it, Sam doesn't want to have more babies. Now, previously, it's been said in the book, like early on chapters, that Sam wanted more kids and Clementine did not, but he didn't know that. And it came out the day of the barbecue. When Erika and Oliver asked them to have kids, they were like, you know, one of the main reasons we want to ask you is because, you know, you're friends, you're healthy, you've had kids before, and you seem like you're done. Sam was like, what? Clementine was like, huh? Clementine and Vid are getting on creepily well. They was like passing around like these strudels. He's like, can anybody name the secret flavor in these? And of course, nobody gets it except Clementine. She was like, sage. And then Sam made this joke like, my wife is so sage. A lame ass joke. And Tiffany laughed. I'm telling y'all, I can see what the hell is going on. Even Clementine was like, don't encourage him, his raggedy jokes. And she was like, oh, sorry. So then Vid was like, let's play another game. Like another guessing game or something like that. Whatever. Tiffany was like, ooh, limbo. Y'all know she will take any opportunity to show off her sexy body and her flexible ass skills. So of course she dropped down, bent her body backwards. Everybody looking at her like, the men are looking at her like, the women like, here goes Sam. I love limbo, but you might have me. Did you used to do yoga? Y'all know this kind of stuff, like flirting all in her business, like doing the most. And Tiffany was kind of doing that to like get back at Clementine. So they doing that whole little flirty stuff. And Vid was like, no. Like, guess this song, this classical music song. Now Vid loves classical music. And Clementine is a cellist. He was like, I remember hearing this song the first time I heard this song, I felt like I was drowning. Like the music just engulfed me. So he plays the song. Everybody else is like pretending. Like, yes. Yes. Clementine hears it immediately. She's like, she felt the exact same feeling, the drowning. She knew it. She knew the song, blah, 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 blah. Then they glance over at each other, giving this like knowing look like, you hear it? I hear it. And that's the end of that chapter. I feel like they're setting us up for adultery. A lot of bebopping and a lot of scatting. The rice is spicier than the chicken. Chapter 29, we finally get a POV from Vid. Wow. So it is like, I guess it's present day. Vid is polishing Dakota's shoes, his daughter. She's getting ready to go to, like, I guess you'll call it orientation at her new school. He like hears a car pull off in the background. He looks up. It's Erika pulling out. He was like, in his head, I wonder if Erika's heard from Clementine. You know, ever since the barbecue, he hasn't heard from Clementine. He's been calling her, leaving her messages, no return. And he said everybody returns his call, even his ex-wife. So for Clementine not to return his calls, it's like he's really like annoyed. What is going on? So he's polishing the shoes and he's like in his head like, look how good I'm doing. Women can't polish shoes. He said they go too fast or something. And then he was like, I wonder what Clementine would think with that. I wonder how she polishes shoes. Anyway, so then he was like, the last time he saw her, he hasn't spoken to her, but the last time he saw her was he actually saw her perform. He's supposed to meet a friend at the opera house and the friend ended up backing out. Their family member got sick or whatever, and so he went by himself. And he really knew it was like a very slim chance that he would see Clementine because she's a substitute and she hasn't had her audition yet, and he knows that because he asked Erika about it. So he knew like I might not get to see her, but he considers himself a lucky person. So of course he got lucky and she was playing that night. Now he sat next to this couple. I can't remember their names, but he sat next to this couple and started talking to them. He's one of those people that talks to everybody. I don't do that. Anyway, so he's one of those people that talks to everybody. So he actually said he's going to invite those people over. He got their phone numbers and everything. But anyway, he was like, oh yeah, my friend's down there. She's right there. He saw Clementine. She's right there. He's like, I'm going to clap for her. And they were like, don't clap. So anyway, she started playing and he says that he felt like she saw him, but he wasn't too sure. And I think a few mukbangs ago, I said that when she had dinner with Sam, she said she saw him. I think so. I can't remember, but I think she said she saw him. But they didn't talk. She was, you know, playing. He was like watching her the whole time, of course. So he kind of like shakes the memory out of his head and he gets, you know, the family together, Tiffany and Dakota, ready so they can go to the school thing. And like they're driving in the car, and as they are driving, they pass like Harry's house. Now Harry is their old he's their old crotchety, old complaining ass neighbor that Tiffany and Oliver found dead a few days ago. He fell at the bottom of his stairs, so there was police there, and Tiffany was like, oh, should we stop by? What if they need to ask me questions? Viv was like, they don't need to ask you questions. You said everything that you had to say, so like that's it. And then Viv was like talking about how rude of a person he was. And he was like, he spit on you, talking to Dakota in the back seat, the daughter. And she was like, he didn't spit on me. He saw me one time and he spit on the ground. Like, he saw me, he wanted to spit. And then Viv was like, oh, it was enough for me to kill him. And then Tiffany was like, well, he's already dead, so calm down. And Dakota's just like in the back seat, very plain face, very withdrawn. That little girl is going through something. I'm telling y'all, I think the story revolves around her. I think all the drama is around Dakota. I told y'all, we know she did something at the barbecue. We don't know what she did, but she did something. So they get to the school. They get seated, and Tiffany's making phony small talk with one of the moms, talking about a skirt, blah, blah, blah. Then the lady's like, oh, do you have any kids that go here? And Tiffany was like, oh, my daughter's getting ready to go here, but my stepdaughters went here before. And we find out that Vid's older daughters, he has 3, they don't like Tiffany. They don't even want her to call them stepdaughters. T. And the lady was like, oh yeah, my daughter goes here, and this is my husband Andrew. And Tiffany looked at Andrew and she knew him. She looked at his eyes and she knew those eyes. Y'all, Tiffany is up to no good. Something about her. She has a past. So chapter 30 is back to the day of the barbecue. Y'all, this rice is spicy, but it's very good. I'm starting to get flubby. So it's back to the day of the barbecue. This one is spicy. Okay, shit. So it's back to the day of the barbecue. They're like finishing up eating. Everybody showering Vid with compliments about the food, especially Clementine. Like they even had like a private conversation about onions. Tiffany like rolled her eyes, and then she started to flirt back with Sam, trying to like get even. So she started talking to Sam about sports. And he was like, oh, so you really know about sports, like you're not faking it. She was like, I never fake it. Erika and Oliver were like, what? Like, why are you saying this? Like, there's kids around. They didn't say that, but they like motioned like the kids. Like, why are you talking like that? Y'all, this bee is something else. So then Sam tries to change the subject, and he's like, oh, you know, Oliver doesn't like sports. He pretends to like sports when I come around. He's like, Oliver doesn't watch sports. He actually plays sports. He's very athletic. Actually, him and Erika met on the, what was it called? It's almost like a tennis court. I don't know the name that they said. It's in Australia. Something like that. And then Oliver was like, yeah, we bonded over our mutual love of spreadsheets. Like, you know, they did the points and stuff, I guess. Spreadsheets. And Tiffany was like, oh, I like spreadsheets too. And Clementine was like, what? Like, you like spreadsheets? They think of Tiffany as this ditzy, beautiful blonde. Like, she wouldn't even know what a spreadsheet was. She was like, yeah, I like spreadsheets. Clementine was like, when would you use a spreadsheet? Tiffany was like, for work. She's like, work? Oh, I didn't think you worked. Like, she's like, what do you do? She's like, basically she flips houses. And then Vid piped up like, not only does she flip houses, like, she's really good at it. Like, she's rolling in the dough. And he basically did like boasting. He was like, you see this house? He's like, she paid for this. I married up, not her. In her head, Tiffany was like, Vid's gonna joke and say, oh, I'm only an electrician. That's what he said. But she was like, yeah, you're an electrician with 30 employees. Like, stop acting like you're a bum. You got money. So basically, Tiffany and Vid both have money. She's very successful at flipping houses. And so somebody was like, well, so how did you guys meet? And they gave like this funny look. And Tiffany was like, oh, we met bidding on a property. We were both trying to bid on the same property. And then Vid, of course, he's so obnoxious, like, well, that's really not the first time we met. Tiffany gave him was like, shut up. And then he got this look on his face like, dang, sorry. So Clementine was like, what do you mean? So how did y'all meet? And Sam was like, excuse my wife. She's just trying to be nosy. And she was like, sorry. Like, it's just so mysterious. Like, I just want to know. And so Tiffany was like, screw it. So she like leaned over, she looked at the kids to make sure like they weren't like close enough, and she was like, let me tell you. And that's the end of that chapter. I knew they met under some freaky ways. I could just tell. I could just tell. So chapter 31 is a very sad chapter. It made me very, very sad, y'all. All right, so chapter 31 is, like I said, Erika earlier, like chapter 27, she was getting ready to go visit her mom. So this is when she gets to her mom's house, and so she gets to her mom's house and it's raining still. She's standing in the front yard. And like I said, her mom's a hoarder. So as Erika's looking at the house, she's like, oh my gosh, because she realizes that the hoarding has made it to the outside of the house. You know, before it was all kind of kept on the inside. People couldn't really tell what was going on. But now there's like piles and piles of stuff. There's boxes and there's like teenage posters that did not belong to Erika. And there's just online orders piled up, getting soaked because it's outside in torrential downpour. Just a bunch of crap. And Erika's just standing outside, and up walks the neighbor, her mom's neighbor, and it's a really nice lady, and she basically was like, you know, like, hi, how are you, good to see you, that kind of stuff. But she was basically trying to tell Erika, like, I just want to let you know, like, we're selling our house. Like, we basically can't live next, she didn't say these words, but what she was trying to say was they can't live next to, like, a hoarder, like a messy property. And she already told Erika, she was like, we're already about to lose $100,000 on the house. And in Erika's head, she's like, you're going to lose more than $100,000. She was like, it's okay, I understand. And the lady was like, I'm sorry, like, your mom used to like me, but she doesn't like me anymore. And Erika was like, I'm sorry, that's just how my mom is. That's just her personality. It's part of her sickness. And the lady was like, yeah, like, I saw this stuff on TV. And Erika, in her head, like, was, like, rolling her eyes. Because she was like, people don't really understand hoarding. You know, just because you see it on TV, you don't really understand what it's really like. It's a lot going on. So she told the lady pretty much like, I'll try to clean up on the outside as much as I can, you know, to help you with your sale. And the lady was like, okay, thank you. And she could see her mom like peeking through the blinds. So she gets ready and she walks up to the house, and her mom like opens the door real fast and like, hurry up, get in, get in, get in, get in. So she turns her body sideways because the door won't open all the way because there's so many boxes from all the stuff in the house. And she said, like, you know, even to this day, even when she go into anyone's house, she'll turn her body sideways because she's just so used to growing up having to turn her body sideways to get into the door. So then as she gets in, her mom was like, what were you doing talking to her? And Erika was like, that's a nice lady, like, calm down, chill. She's looking around trying to figure out what she's going to clean first. And she was like, oh, maybe if it's drizzling, I'll start on the outside to help the lady. But she got to the kitchen and she was like, I got to clean the kitchen first. Like, she said it was containers filled with mold and old paper plates just piled up. So she was like, this is a health hazard. I have to clean the kitchen first. And her mom was like, look at you, you had to come here with equipment, because she had like mop buckets and cleaning supplies and gloves. And she was like, you treat me like I'm some project, or like I'm, what did she say, like I'm some job. You come here like I'm some job. And she was like, you are some job, like you are. And her mom was dressed weird. She had on like a Great Gatsby flapper blue dress with like a headband, and she was like, where are you going? Why are you dressed like why are you dressed like that? And she was like, oh, I'm going to my friend's 60th birthday party. And she said, who? And she said the lady's name. And Erika was like, are you serious? Like, that party was 2 years ago and you didn't go because you said Great Gatsby was stupid. It was a stupid idea for a party. So basically during this whole interaction with her mom, I'm summarizing it, but what I'm basically about to say is her mom's personality was up and down. She was excited, then she was angry, then she was trying to get sympathy, and then her emotions were all over the place. So yeah, her mom was like, I'm going to a party, and Erika was like, the party was 2 years ago and you didn't go. And then her mom was like, got defensive, and she was like, let me find the invitation, because you think you know everything. Why would I hold on to an invitation that's 2 years old? And Erika was like, because you're a hoarder, you don't throw anything away. So she's in the kitchen, and while this conversation's happening, she's throwing all the trash away. The whole time she's talking to her mom, she's speaking in a very calm voice, because she learned not to be aggressive. It just didn't get her anywhere. So she's talking to her mom like calmly, even though her mom's having 20 different personalities. Even Oliver asked her, like, do you think she's bipolar? And Erika was like, no, I don't think she's bipolar, because bipolar people can't control their moods, their ups and downs. My mom knows exactly what she's doing. She's very in control of what she's doing, so she's not bipolar. So then when Erika said, you know, you never throw anything away, her mom got defensive and she was like, I know I have a problem. Maybe if your father hadn't left me, I could have been a stay-at-home mom and I could have kept the house. Like, I could have kept the house clean. So then we find out that Erika's dad left when she was younger. It doesn't say exactly how old, but she was young. And basically he just left a note on the fridge that said, sorry. I can't remember her mom's name. I think it's Sandy or something. Sorry, the mom's name. And it didn't even mention anything about Erika. She pretty much said she was like a non-factor to her dad growing up. And when he left, he started sending money, just kind of make up for not being there. And her mom was shocked, but it wasn't anything too crazy. But then when her grandma died, wait, hold on, let me take it back. So her dad left, and her mom always kind of had like a personality of a shopper, but it wasn't crazy. It was under control. She just liked to shop. And then when her dad left, that day that he left that letter on the fridge, her mom went shopping and she came back with a bunch of stuff, and it like never stopped. So he would send money and her mom would do that. And then when their grandma died, she left a lot of money, and then the shopping habit just got even more out of control. So that's how her mom's hoarding started. It started when her husband left her. She just couldn't ever get over it. And obviously she still isn't over it, because she's still talking to Erika about it like to this day. And Erika's like a grown-ass woman. So she was like, yeah, like I could have been a stay-at-home mom, like your friend Clementine's mom. Perfect. Clementine. I forgot Clementine's mom's name. I think it's Pam. It's like perfect Pam. And Erika was like, first of all, her mom had a job. She was a social worker, don't you remember? And she was like, yeah, part-time. And then she was like, she treated you like you were a project. Her little project. Like, remember, she made Clementine be your friend. Now, this would usually be something that would hurt somebody's feelings, but Erika already knew that. She already feels like Clementine's little project, so she was like, whatever. It was just so sad, like, reading it. Like, her mom was, like, yelling at her and being so rude, and she's over there trying to help her and clean her house. But she even said something like, why are you wearing gloves? Like, it's some sort of... Like, her mom was offended that she was wearing gloves trying to clean her house, and it was crazy. Yeah, she said, Clementine's mom treated you like a project, and Erika was like, she didn't treat me like a project. She saw, like, I was in a bad living situation, and she just wanted to help me. So she just wanted to, like, you know, take care of me or whatever. Her mom was like, oh, yeah, her mom was like, whatever. I took care of you. I kept you fed. I kept clothes on your back. And Erika was like, we didn't have water for a year because you were embarrassed to let people come in the house, or you were ashamed to let people come in the house to fix the pipes or fix the water or whatever. Her mom was like, I was not ashamed. And she was like, screamed when she said that. She was like, I was not ashamed. And then she was like, she kind of got calm, and then she got sad, and she was like, I was just worried they would take you away from me. So then that was that. Oh, and then Erika had like this flashback, and she remembered, because like I said, her dad left. She had this flashback, and she was like, oh, and by the way, Clementine's dad wasn't rich. He was just like a regular, degular, schmegular man working a regular job. He was just a regular guy. He was like, he worked for an engineering firm, and she remembered like one memory of him coming to her house and putting a lock on her door so that her mom couldn't like put stuff in her room, like hoard in her room. And he gave her the key, and he like put his hand on her shoulder. He didn't say anything, but she was like, that was her only experience of like love and like affection from like a father figure, was her best friend's dad. That's sad. So then her mom was like, you don't understand, like, why do you have kids of your own? And she was like, oh wait, you don't want kids. So then we find out that Erika's mom doesn't even know that she's trying to have kids. And then Erika had this another flashback, and she said she remembered when she was younger, she didn't want kids. And she told her mom, like, you know, I don't think I want kids. And her mom was like, yeah, I can't really imagine you, like, having kids or being a mom. And so she remembered that, and then her mom flashed forward again, and her mom was like, yeah, you don't want kids. I don't even get the pleasure of being a grandma. So, like, trying to make Erika feel guilty, but low-key not even knowing that Erika is trying to have kids, and she's having fertility issues, and her mom's yelling that stuff at her, and she was like, it's a good thing, like, it's a good thing you're not a mom, or you don't want to be a mom, or because you wouldn't even know how to handle kids. You'd be constantly throwing away all their toys. Basically kind of what she was doing at her mom's house, which is not the same. She was like, you would throw away all their toys. And then Erika like rolled her eyes. She like picked up the giant bag of trash and she started to like walk it out to the back door. And she tried to like pick it up and it like bust. And all this trash like oozed out and grossness, and her mom just started laughing at her. And that is the end of that chapter. That is the saddest chapter. So then you realize when earlier on in the book, when Erika was like yelling at her mom saying, I don't want to come see you, or I'm only going to come see you on this date, Thursday. Now you realize why she doesn't want to go see her mom, because it's like, it's almost abusive. So chapter 32 is a quick one. It's Dakota's point of view. We're back to the day of the barbecue, and Dakota, it's where we saw where Tiffany like looked at the kids real quick to see if they were listening, and she was like whispering in. Dakota was like, oh, she's probably talking about sex, or talking about like how her and my dad met. She's like, my mom told me that her and my dad met like bidding on a property, but my sisters, Vid's older daughters or stepsisters, which by the way, the daughters don't like Tiffany, but they like Dakota. The sisters told Dakota that the way your mom and my dad met is your mom had an affair with my dad when they were married to my mom, their mom, Angelina, Vid's first wife. Tea, honey. Tea. So Dakota was like, I don't understand why everything gotta be so secretive. I'm old enough to know the truth. Why are they lying to me? And of course she's sitting with Holly and Ruby, Sam and Clementine's daughters, and she's like, you know, they cool or whatever, but I want to go upstairs and read my book. I don't want to hang out with these little kids anymore. Like, I'm ready to go. And they're over here whispering, and it was annoying her because she's like, I'm old enough to understand. She's like, I know about sex. They had like a sex ed class at school, and the parents came, and the kids were more mature than the parents. The parents were giggling, and the kids were like, stop. Even Vid and some other dude had to go outside because they were laughing so much. Wee-wees and pee-pees. So she was like, this is so dumb. Like, she basically feels like she's mature enough to handle the truth, and she feels like her mom's lying to her, which probably she is. So, and then, you know, she got to snaps back into reality. Yeah, ice cream truck swinging through. Anyway, so yeah, so she snaps back into reality. The kids are like arguing over the iPad, and she's like, y'all be quiet. That's the end of that chapter. Chapter 33, finally. So chapter 33, we are back to Dakota's school, the day of the like orientation or whatever. Now Dakota had to go to her regular school because she's starting this new school, but she still goes to another school. So she's dressed in her other school uniform, so she had to go to school after this, but they had to go there first. And like we said, Tiffany is sitting next to that dude Andrew, who she knows somehow. So she's looking at him, and you know, he kind of looked at her, but she was like, she doesn't know if he remembers her, but she felt like he was trying to place her. And she was like, you know me. But he didn't seem to remember. The orientation starts, the principal comes out, you know, welcome to school, blah, 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 blah. Then Tiffany's kind of looking at Dakota. She looking like blank face, bored. She's looking at Vid. He's texting on his phone. And she was like, he doesn't have any manners. And then she said something about, what would everybody think? Like, him being on his phone. And then she was like, well, what would people think if they knew how I knew this man? Does his wife know? Does she know who I am? Then she said something like, then the part of the orientation came where, like, little girls came to play instruments. She looks back at Dakota, and Dakota's looking like, just not herself. And then she was like, you know, if this got out, how I knew him, he would say, like, I'm an old friend. And she was like, I am an old friend. She was an old friend. Something like that. You know, this wouldn't ruin my reputation. This wouldn't hurt me. It would hurt Dakota. Because the little girls would start talking, whispering, and it would hurt, like, her reputation if she would get, like, outcast at school or whatever. Probably. And then she kind of, like, looks down, and she just feels, she said she felt this overwhelming feeling of guilt. And she said she felt, like, ashamed. And she said she usually doesn't feel that. And she said ever since the day of the barbecue, she's been off balance because of what happened. And then she was like, we're all adults, but we were the hosts of the party. It was our house. She was like, it happened in their home. And then she remembered Clementine's eyes gleaming in the twilight. So little like tidbits. And then she was like, it's innocent fun. What? So then she looked over at Dakota again, and this time Dakota looked like sick. Like, she looked bad. And then basically Dakota looked at Tiffany and she was like, I feel sick. Can we go? And she was relieved because she thought something else was wrong with her. So they leave, they grab a pamphlet, and they're driving home. And Vid looks back at Dakota in the rearview mirror, and as they're getting closer to home, she's looking a little bit better. She's looking a little bit better, and he lights up a cigarette. He's like, so what do you think about that school, right? That's a nice school. And he was like, did you see those girls playing the instruments? He's like, maybe you could play. Maybe you could play cello. And Tiffany's like rolling her eyes like, bruh, come on. And then he was like, maybe Clementine could come over and give you lessons. And Tiffany was like, Vid, stop. And she was like, he was like, what? She was like, Clementine is not going to want to come over here and give Dakota lessons. And then they heard like this noise from the back seat, and they look back at her. She's like hyperventilating. And so they pull over. They go to the back seat, try to pull her out of the car, try to like tell her to calm down. Her chest is like going up and down. She's freaking out, and they tell her to calm down. And they're like, what is it? And so she finally said the words, and she was crying, and she was like, Clementine. They're like, Clementine? She was like, Clementine hates me. And they were like, what? Clementine does not hate you. Why would you think that? And then Tiffany, like in her head, you know, she's asking that question, but in her head, she was like, I knew exactly what Dakota was about to say. So y'all, that is where we are. I don't know what to think anymore. Why would Clementine be mad with her? Her daughters are still fine. Well, I don't know if they're fine, but they're still alive. Because her mom was watching them a few chapters back. Like in present time. Dakota says she did something bad at the barbecue. Tiffany is clearly bebopping this guy. Her and Vid met under adulterous circumstances. Let me know your thoughts. Y'all, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like, drop a comment, subscribe to my channel so that way, oh, and hit the notification bell so that way you will never miss an upload from me, so you can get a ding 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 from me. I had a great time. I don't know what the hell is going on in this book, but we will figure it out together. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.